Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Campus Care Group Discussion. Today's topic of discussion is protection is a shared responsibility, and actually, it is. We talk a lot about environment protection, and we talk about how and why and what are the reasons it's deteriorating. But have you ever thought about whether it's a shared responsibility or not? Of course, it's a shared responsibility wherein we talk about a lot we can do as a society, as a group, as an organization, as a school, just to have a helping hand in in order to have that sustainable environment for a future generation. So today's topic of discussion is again this. So we will be having kids who will be talking about how it is a shared responsibility and not just a environment protection thing that we all keep talking about. So over to you guys. All the very best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Go ahead, Subhashish.
As we all know that, hello, am I audible?
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. As we all know that, the most important of the our role sustainable is environment. Environment is one of the most. Sorry, sorry, ma'am. I'm getting some problem in my mic.
All right. Meanwhile, anybody has to speak while Shubhashish is getting corrected with his connectivity. Do we have anybody else?
Yes, ma'am. Greetings to all the dignitaries present over here. My name is Dilip Kumar Sharma, and I'm a student of Lakshmipat Singhanam Public School, studying in class 10th B. So, as we all know, in the today's current situation, there is a lot of pollution going on, and the main reason of these different types of pollution is the overgrowing use of industries and the overgrowing use of plastics and all the contaminants present in the air. And the factories produce chemical wastes and they release it into the seawater bodies, which cause water pollution, as you all know. And the gas they produce is also not good, not good for the environment. It is harmful for the nature. So this also causes air pollution, and some industries they they release these wastes in the ground, which causes soil pollution. So there are a lot of pollution going on in the current situation, in the current environment, and this needs to be stopped. Of course, humans, when they unite, when they do it by themselves, they can help in the situation. They, environment protection is definitely a shared responsibility. Everyone has a part in this, and they must help in cleaning and keeping our environment clean, because the environment is the home of everyone and you can't keep your home dirty. With that, I would like to say that there are various methods by which humans can help in saving the environment. One of them is to stop the overgrowing use of plastics. As you know, plastics are not biodegradable, and when they are left on the ground, when they are thrown over the ground, they don't decompose and they don't mix up in the soil, which makes them which for which they are non-biodegradable, which they don't mix up in the soil and they get left over there. There are many pits in where we can see a lot of plastic waste collected over, and they just keep on increasing and increasing and increasing. They create a huge heap of plastic waste, which is definitely very harmful for the environment and soil. So these wastes can be eliminated by not using the non-biodegradable substances and using the biodegradable substances, like we can use paper bags or jute bags instead of using these plastic bags. We can we can eliminate this issue of plastic. And to clean the water, we can always try the water conservation method. We can try to we can try to eliminate all the plastic waste and chemical waste in the water by treating them regularly. We can treat the seawater bodies and clean them all of all the chemical pollutants and all those harmful substances and contaminants they contain. Um, we can clean the air by not by not producing by when the industries, when they don't produce much of those gases, it will help in the it will help in uh, conserving. It will help in reducing the air contaminants, and with that we can create a environment. We can create an environment which will be habitable for all, and which will not be harmful for anyone. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Do we have anybody else who would like to speak?
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Abhasmita Dheer of class 11B from Lakshmipat Singhania Public School, and I'm glad to given this opportunity to present my views on environment protection is a shared responsibility. First of all, when we discuss the Earth's environment, we are talking about the health of both biotic as well as abiotic components of the ecosystem. Everything from the roots of the tree underground to the air we breathe is a part of the environment, and health of each part affects the health of the whole. We all know the degrading qualities of the earth life, but we just need to start seeing the sign. The harsh and unwanted weather conditions is the proof that they need saving and securing more than ever. As we see, the occurrence of natural disasters and calamities are increasing nowadays. And because of these calamities, people are losing their lives. Moreover, the melting glaciers is the other alarming situation as to why we should save our environment. To save environment, we have to start with the right handling of waste. To do this, we should start with recycling and the right disposal of waste. We need to eradicate the litter and avoid irresponsible waste disposal practices immediately. There is no excuses for plastics. It should always be recycled and thrown away in a responsible manner. We need to reduce, reuse, and recycle our waste wherever possible. This will keep litter out of the environment. Waste eradication is a collective responsibility that needs to be prioritized. Government, businesses, and citizens can work together to keep our environment free from litter and pollution. Along with this, electricity uses has to be reduced to conserve electricity or to conserve energy. Instead, we can switch to renewable resources like solar and hydropower. By doing this, we can adopt a greener and healthier lifestyle. A green and clean atmosphere is important to live a peaceful and healthy life. We must stop and avoid using poly and plastic bags and prefer eco-friendly items to save our environment. We can avoid the use of petroleum by using public transports and cycles for short distance rather than using bike, car, etc. We should minimize the use of groundwater and surface water because conserving water resources and decreasing the pollution level of water, air, soil, etc. are equally important. Clean farmlands and healthy soil are vital for thriving society. The beauty of nature is that it can self-heal if it is kept free from pollution and contaminants. Our soil will slowly regenerate nutrition if we avoid illegal dumping of chemical waste and littering of household refuse. We should not use chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and we should go for an organic farming. We should promote digital technology that will save more paper that are made from natural resources like wood. We should save forests and plant more trees because trees, as we all know, are the lungs of the environment. To conclude, I would like to say that it is our responsibility to protect the environment from being polluted and destroyed. Life on Earth can never be imagined without the environmental balance. Environmental protection is required to ensure survival on this Earth. So, let us take a pledge and hold our hands together and share the responsibility of protecting our environment and make it a better place to live in. Thank you.
All right. Do we have anybody else who would like to put across their viewpoints?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So,
Subhash.
good evening, everyone. It's Vasis Tripathi from Lakshmipat Singhania, class 10th. So, I'm standing here. I'm before you to tell something about environment protection is a shared responsibility. So, as we know that the environment protection is now a most trending topic. Our personal activities or actions can either improve or deteriorate the environment quality. Humans are the most the main cause of the deterioration of environment. Human actions cause many environmental problems. There are many serious environmental threats such as deforestation, air and water pollution, etc. All of us are equally responsible for these problems in one or other way. So if we want to fix this problem, we have to understand that not only individual, we all are equally responsible for this. So there are actions people can opt daily to protect the environment, like recycling the waste or recycling the papers which we use daily, reuse, compost, and use of green fuels and vehicles. Remember that our earth can fulfill all our needs, but we need to understand that we have to also care the same for the earth to maintain and sustain life. Maintain and sustain life. So the more we understand, if we understand it more clear or more better, it will be for us and for our continuing generations in future. So if we are to respond to these problems, we have to recognize that each of us is individually responsible for the quality of the environment we live in it. So majority of the people want a cleaner and safe environment, but none of us want to change this. And mm, let's change it. People need to clean water and block the roads during its unavailability, but not many of them hesitate to throw the hazardous waste directly untreated into this water. We want water. So using of fans instead of ACs. Using of transport instead of private ones. Having own water bottle instead of buying bottled water. By these methods, we can protect environment. Uh, Using and carrying on recycled bag instead of using of washable and reusable diapers among children. We can also use reusable diapers which is available in the market. So the children's not buying those plastic diapers which are available in the markets. And using these recyclable items can be profitable as to our environment and to us. So environment problems cannot be solved alone with these quick technological fixes. Decisions and actions taken by individuals to a very large extent determine the quality of life for everyone. This necessitates that individuals should not only be aware of various environmental issues and the consequences of their actions on the environment, but should also make on the firm resolve to develop environmental ethical lifestyles. We need to work together as to protect this and protect the environment because we all live in this environment and we all acquire the things we get from the environment. The fundamental duties enshrined in our constitution impose duty on individuals to protect the environment in order to provide each and every human a clean environment and a life with dignity and harmony. So as we know that water pollution, air pollution, land degradation is most trending or is a problem which is related with everyone and many parts of India is suffering from this air pollution and water pollution. So in fact, in so in order to fix these problems, you have to work unitely and go through the solutions. So every year, the quality of environment is deteriorating instead of improving. But the good news is that there is a lot of there is a lot we can still change. After, in order to tackle the menace of these growing environmental problems, urgent steps should be taken not only at a global country level, it should be taken internationally. In fact, the role of individuals in prevention of environment problems is of critical importance because it is the individuals that make a community or country effort that make a community or country effort by each individual at his or level can be significant effect on global level. It's an aptly said charity begins at home. Quoted by a great person that he told that charity begins at home. Environment conscious and inspired individuals are the strongest tool to uh, tackle environmental problems at local levels. So it is better to more viable to prevent environmental related problems by educating individuals. Individuals should encourage others to modify their lifestyle and living habits if that are not healthy for environment. Each of us are responsible of this deterioration of environment. So we should work unitely in order to protect the environment, not to harm the environment. Because as we get the same love from the environment, we should love the environment as same as we get from it. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Do we have anybody else who would like to express their viewpoints on the same?
Good afternoon, everyone present over here. Myself, Sneha Behera from Laxmikant Singhania Public School, JK. So, today I'm here to tell something about environment protection is a shared responsibility. So, first of all, a question arises in our mind that what is environment? The surrounding in which all life forms exist on Earth is known as environment. An environment is the place where all living things dwell. But sadly, a major portion of the environment is degrading due to pollution nowadays. So it's our responsibility to protect our environment. So the act of protecting the environment from being polluted is known as environment protection. The main objective of environment protection is to conserve the environment or the natural resources for our future use. To make our environment human friendly, we all need to remember one thing that the individual efforts is the first initiative for saving the environment. We all should uh, take some initiative in our day to day life to conserve our environment. For example, we can follow the 3R principle, that is, reduce, reuse, and recycle. So, first R, that is reduce, which means we need to cut off on the things that are harmful for our environment. For example, we can reduce the use of plastic bags or polythene, and in place of that, we can use jute bag, cotton bags, or paper bags. The second R, that is reuse. As the word states, that we can reuse the substances in different ways. For example, the sauce bottles or the glass bottles of pickles we can use to store some grains, or we can plant some small plants in that. The last R, that is recycle. As the word states, in this process, the used substances undergo some process in which they are made. In this process, some new substances are made, and we can use the substances in different ways. For example, we can recycle paper. For example, we can recycle paper to make newspaper. In this way, we can conserve our environment. Some other ways are we can go some shorter distance by going walking, and we can reduce the use of electricity by switching off the switches of lights and fans when they are not in use. In such way, we can conserve our environment. At last, I conclude my talk by saying that we all should participate in the practice of protecting the environment, as it is our shared responsibility. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sneha. So, do we have anybody who'd like to, conclude or maybe interject? Is there anybody who hasn't spoken in a while and would like to speak? Shubhashish, would you like to add something to her, Beta? Sneha, would you like to, speak something? Okay. Abhashmita, would you like to add something to her?
Ma'am, I want to tell that one should not think that it is her responsibility or it is his responsibility to conserve the environment. I want to tell that it is all humans' responsibility to conserve the environment, as it is going to help us in our future if we take some steps now. That's all, ma'am.
Thank you, Sneha. So one thing that thank you, Sneha. So one thing that I've understood is there anybody left to speak something on the topic, or would like to interject, or would like to add something to one another?
Ma'am, I would like to add something.
Abhasmita, would you like to speak?
Ma'am, I just wanted to say that as Sneha said that one should not think it's his or her responsibility, but I think many of the people in everywhere in the world are thinking that what it can do, or how we can do, or our help cannot help the environment. So I just want to say that we should not think that one individual cannot make any change. If someone will start something, then only others will see him or her and start to start to protect our environment. So I think that at least one of us can start protecting the environment so that others can also start by seeing us.
All right. Did you wanted to say something?
Yes, ma'am. As Ms. Abhasmita added, I'd like to add to that that the environment changes in the current changes in the environment are not just a single person's issue. It is everyone's issue, and it is also caused by everyone. Not a single person is involved in this. Everyone is involved in this. So this also concerns the people living in cities, not just the people in cities, but also the people living in villages. And not only them, but also the people living in towns. That means everyone in the world is concerned with these issues. So everyone should and must take steps, their own steps, in order to solve these issues. Yes, thank you, ma'am. That's all.
Anybody else who would like to add on to something? All right. So what I understand and what we things appear is like through this pandemic, a lot has been pushed to some issues have been pushed back to burners. Although we cannot deny the fact that our environment is intrinsically linked to life itself. The axiom "when the last tree dies, the last man dies" is apt interpretation of this fact. However, human activities tend to indicate a balanced rejection of this fact, leading to all kinds of pollution of the environment. Forms of pollution that quickly comes to mind includes Glamsey, which with its attendant destructions of land and water bodies, filth, deforestation, the dangerous reclamations and destruction of wetlands, unregulated sand swinning, noise, and air pollution. Glamsey does not only pollute rivers and other water bodies with the use of deadly chemicals such as mercury, cyanides, and other poisonous chemicals, but also leaves death traps for the miners themselves and the farmers in the mining communities. Of course, there are a lot of questions when, how, and where we can do that, and for how long it has been doing that because of this unlawful practices that we follow. So there are a lot of health as a hazards to animals, to wildlife, to biodiversity. If we talk about it, there is a strong correlation among water scarcity, unclean water, and disease, and this is the critical to improve accessibility to promote good health. Yet, most economic ventures or activities do not value the essential services provided by freshwater ecosystems, resulting in the unsustainable use of water resources and ecosystem degradation. However, there are contentions of environmental seems to be have benefited slightly from the COVID-19 pandemic, with the world together fighting the pandemic through the lockdowns and other restrictive safety protocols. To those who have that contention, nature seems to be busy reclaiming its space in the absence of the constant flurry of human activities. Already, people dread the return to the noisy activities of some churches come Sunday with the ease of restrictions. And there are a lot of things, wherein we believe that a lot has already happened to the environment. So, we as the human mankind, or the humankind as globally, it's a global process. It's a global destruction that we are talking about. We are talking about global warming, we are talking about ozone layer depletion. So it's not just restricted to one person, to one community, to one individual, or to a one specific land space. It's talking about the entire globe that we are living in. To be very honest, just to end this discussion, it is like we have to save our environment. Our survival depends on that. That's such a heavy word if we get into the introspection of that, because where we stand, what we need from our environment, it's equally what we want to give back. But current situation is not equally, but in multiple, we have to multiply, or we have to exponentially give way back what our environment needs. Obviously, when we talk about pandemic, though it has caused a lot of harm, but since everybody was back home, it has given a lot to environment, to nature, to recover themselves. But all our initiatives should be at such level, and should be at a level wherein everybody could come as a society. If we talk about schools, that can come as a society. If we talk about the places that we live in, that can also come back as a society. The corporates, everywhere. So we are talking about single individual performance as well as the collective individual performance, which could have a better life, a sustainable life. Again, I would like to repeat myself that we have to protect environment. Our survival depends on that. And with that note, I, Sakshi Jain, host of the evening, would like to sign